When you watch Planet Earth on your television and you see the world and you see forests and animals and life and the ocean, do you get a high off of that? When you meditate, do you get a high off of that? When you read classic literature, the best written work in the world, do you get a high off that? Or do you get a high off watching crap pop culture? Anytime that we make videos, what we try to do, we try to make something that will stand the test of time. We do an event like this, we try to do something that will stand the test of time because we're not trying to add to the crap heap of today's latest gossip and complaints that in 1,000 years from now will look so stupid. Okay, I love Nelson Mandela's book. Loved it so much that I traveled to South Africa, went and met F.W. de Klerk, the guy who actually was involved in getting him out from prison, was the head of the country at that time. I was so inspired by The Long Walk to Freedom. But the one thing I didn't like in that book was when he started complaining briefly about some other political party. And I was like, bro, I don't want to hear this. You're Nelson Mandela. I don't want to hear that from you because those people are gone. I want to look at this big story. I want to see the epicness. Now, I understand he's giving his perspective. That's fair enough. But to me, it seemed petty. It's like punching down. He's better than that. He's above that. Where are you putting your focus? That doesn't mean that you could never comment on something or clarify something or acknowledge or recognize that something's a problem. But again, stop complaining about the chip in your brother's eye. First, take out the plank in your own eye. It's a way to hide your greatness by burning up mental capital, emotional capital, time capital, etc., etc., etc. So if you're finding yourself looking at pop culture, if you're finding yourself getting off on complaining, victim thinking, gossiping, crap talking, negativity, and that feeds your soul, you've got to begin to change that. Because the problem is, if I bring you into a world with beautiful people who you could date, or people who you can make a lot of money with, or into situations that have massive opportunities, that will feel so unfamiliar to you. That will be literally toxic to you because you are a metaphorical poop eater. Say that word, metaphorical poop eater. Say it. Metaphorical poop eater. That's right. You're paying me money to call you a poop eater now, right? So, welcome. So, you're a metaphorical poop eater. You can only survive on poop. People that get off on complaining, being victims, crap talking others, looking at others so that they can feel good. Why do they do it? Because it gives them dopamine. It's like, oh, someone else is worse than me, so I feel good because my fragile confidence doesn't feel good unless I put someone else down and am better by comparison. Oh, I get dopamine from complaining because it makes me feel better. Is that a coping or thriving strategy? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, you're all saying it's soft because you do it and you're embarrassed, and I get it, and that's why we're here to help you. So ultimately, these are coping strategies that we do when we're addicted to negative energy, when negative energy has become familiar, when we've been traumatized and we're in this loop of things to re-traumatize ourselves and building webs around it. Now, I'm going to have Julien give his take on this, and I'm going to keep coming back to this web, but keep this idea in your headers. Are you someone who goes and eats the ribeye, dates the most attractive people, makes the most money, enjoys life, or are you a poop eater? Okay? Are you a metaphorical poop eater? And we've got to change it to where having success is familiar, natural, and automatic for you so that that hot air balloon has the tentacles cut and you can ascend to your full potential.
Really take an audit, as you said, like on the daily thoughts. You know, we think every single day is like new, but in reality, the thoughts you have today, 90% of them are the same thoughts you had yesterday. Again, those patterns just keep running us. It's like that movie Groundhog Day. And every day we're like, it's a different day. It looks different externally. The weather's different. Nah, same patterns at play. So notice that little voice. What's the theme, right? What do you gravitate towards? You know, back in the day, I'm curious if you remember this, there's a show called Jerry Springer, the Jerry Springer Show. Anyone know that? I mean, it might still be going, right? And that was like the pinnacle of just like, what is this? But some people just love it. It's like, yeah, look at them go. Funny enough, that kind of like branched out, and that's most, you could say, pop culture shows now here today. Same thing. It's extensions of the Jerry Springer Show.
Feeding you poop. They got your head tilted back in a vice, and they're just feeding poop down your throat. You're like, feed me the poop.
And you know you like it when it feels like a guilty pleasure, right? Like, notice when you light up. This is key. If someone comes up to you and like, hey, here's some awesome news, how do you feel? If someone comes up to you, it's like, hey, you want to hear the latest tea? Would you like some tea, some gossip? Would that excite you more? When even in the morning, like you're trying to like, oh, let me check the news, right? If you're someone who does that, do you get more excited? There's like, oh, you know what? Today's a good day in the news, good things happening. Or, oh my gosh, did you see what that person did? Oh, did you see that little crisis there? People light up and love it. And here's the thing too. Say somehow success was imposed on you. This will create once more so much self-sabotage. But say for some reason, like you win the lottery or it's imposed on you, all that is going to do is amplify the current patterns that run you. You think, for example, right now, if you're very miserable and you're just always trying to escape and numb how you feel, you think money's going to change anything? No. All that money will do is help and amplify those patterns, right? Where, say, instead of distracting yourself playing PlayStation, you can distract yourself traveling around the world. You're still distracting yourself. Instead of drinking cheap booze, you can buy the most expensive booze. Still numbing yourself. It's the same thing. It all starts now with those patterns. If you're not doing it now, no external thing's going to change that. You got to change it right here, right now. And realize, too, that what you start looping on, that hijacks your focus, your RAS. If you're someone who's always thinking about like victimhood, problems, people out to get me, that's all you're going to see. It's like these glasses you put on. How do you expect to see opportunities? How do you expect to succeed if that's what you see? That's what you're going to move towards. And again, I'm a victim. That gets this life of its own, and you literally turn into this even more victimized person. It's crazy.
Note that word, life of its own. Note that word, life of its own. The tail begins to wag the dog. I brought people to environments like this. They're banking it, killing it, crushing it, but find little small details to overly focus on. They find this little chink, it's like this parade outside the window, but they find a little speck of dirt on the window. They go, the speck! Look at the speck! I'm like, there's a parade outside. No! I can't enjoy the parade until we deal with this speck. And then in my life, a pattern that I have is I go, oh my God, really? Oh, I'm a bad little boy. And then I would scrub the speck and I go, here, mommy and daddy, do you love me now? I got rid of the speck. They go, there's another speck. I go, yes, mommy and daddy, beat me, mommy and daddy. And I'd scrub that speck and I go, look, I built a parade, my life's blood, the parade. And they're like, another speck. And I do this for say 2-3 years until I've wiped that window. It is the cleanest window on the earth. And then I say, it's clean. And then and because I took away their ability to get mad, they just start rolling on the ground screaming. They're just like, wah, wah, wah. Like, ask him, this has legit happened like 20 times. Legit happened like 20 times. Help someone to become a millionaire. Bring them around the world. Celebrity friends, hottest and most attractive people, fans, everything. Give it all. And they help me build it too. But look, I would give everything. We have a track record of building this out consistently. We know how to do it. And the end result is the person just rolling on the ground in their own feces, licking it off the ground, just like, just pooping and eating it. Just like, I'm a poopy man. I'm the poopy man. Look at me. This is what I really was. This time, you thought I wanted that window clean? I like the poopy. I like that little dot on the window. Give it to me. Give me some poop. Just poop it in my mouth. And I'm like, I just thought you wanted a clean window. Is this really what it was all the time? They're like, and I'm like, like, it's not exactly that, but sadly, it's worse because then they burn millions of dollars. They light it on fire. And you're like, why? 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 And they're like, don't you know I like poop? And that's just what they are. They're poop eaters. And I still love them. I'm like, you know what? Let me give you a hug, you little poop eater. You're covered in poop. I love you anyway. I never say a bad word about you. I love you to death. Just do your thing. Keep in your poop. You know, just eat that poop. Someday when you're ready to stop, to put down the poop. You know, like all this time I thought your complaints were real. I basically was like, mommy, daddy, am I a good little boy? And I tried to fix it. And I realized, no, you're someone who came from a rough spot. You were traumatized. And that trauma, as much as we clown as being poop, was real. That trauma was real, and it frickin' hurt you, and you got beat up somehow, some way, and you got screwed over. And that energy in you took you over and possessed you and took on a life of its own. And now it's all that you can resonate with. And that's why when we put you into a better situation, you can only focus on the specs no matter what parade is going outside. And then I thought that you just really wanted a very, 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 very clean window, and then that was just your thing. And so I cleaned it, and I cleaned it, and I cleaned it, and I said, I love you, I cleaned it. And I tried that because I had my own codependence. And then I realized, wait a minute, in every case, the end of it's just them rolling around in poop, screaming at me, and eating feces, and just being like, this was me all along. And I'm like, wow. And then I think, I wonder if I'm doing that. What's going on? I wonder if we're all doing that. And we can complain about the chip in our brother's eye, but we got to take take out the plank in our own eye. And that's where this work begins, because it is so easy to see this in other human beings, and the hardest thing in the world to see and recognize in ourselves. So that is what Julien is showing you here. He's trying to get you to see this pattern in yourself. Where's that big turd that you're chomping on and saying, I like it, this is me, and you know it's true? Are you ready to just take out the turd? Just take it out. Are you ready? Do you want us just to open it and just take out the turd? Just take it. Open your mouths. Come on, open it. Open your mouths, guys. And just pull the turd out. You can just pull out the turd. Some of you aren't ready yet, I can see. Some of you aren't ready to take it. You're like, I'm not ready. I like my turd. Right, you're not ready. Just take out the turd. Prosperity, love, growth, happiness. Pull out the turd. Oh,